also a part with, because Anthony's done a hell of a lot of work on Jason's case as well.
Yeah.
So we're live now anyway.
Okay. Okay. Hi all. Hi. So what I'm trying to say, I think the court.
Sorry. This is number 9, global online jury from the UK and Greece. Actually, it's live streams from Greece, and most of us are in the UK. So George Carter is going to give us a summary of his case, that he has a criminal case against the UK state for multiple kidnaps, false prosecutions, theft, attempted theft of his home, etc. Go ahead, George.
Okay, thanks, Sahal. Now, I believe where we're going to have some inroads if we all stick together and ask for a court order issued from the individual courts. Now, as I started off and saying to you, I spent years and years beating my head against a brick wall about this conviction in 2002. And I then finally got an answer in July of this year in writing from the High Court in the Strand that there was no there's no order. All they had was a A4-size piece of paper at the High Court with the number on, said I made an application in September 2002 for an appeal. There's nothing else. Yet I went through the system, Romford Magistrate Court, where the hearing started. I then had a trial at Barkingside. Okay. I appealed that and it went to Snaresbrook Crown Court. And from Snaresbrook Court, obviously, I got convicted. I was convicted at Snaresbrook Crown Court and then sent for 2 years. And as I said, from then, 2002, I spent years until July of this year, when the High Court said there's no criminal conviction. Now, I've had numerous others, as Neelu just alluded to. One of them was the London Borough of Redbridge. The CEO, currently I've got to say the previous one, which is under Donald, attempted in numerous occasions to repossess the property we're currently living in with the then mortgage lender, which is called Bristol and West, now Bank of Ireland. I made various representations to the Bank of Ireland. They dodged them. Now, unfortunately, the last 3 months, I've had letters from the CEO, Miss Francisco Donahue, the CEO of Bank of Ireland, said they will get back to me on this. So what I think we have here is a situation where none of these have gone through the courts, but we need to request the layer of information through the courts. That is where the issue lies. Now, I sent a letter to Kit Malthouse, the police minister from England and Wales, and he declined to answer any of the actual actions of the police and the various services, like, for instance, Bank of Ireland, CEO, Thames Water, because we knew the police was using them for these criminal activities against us. Now, I've gone through the courts and I've requested these. Now, what all these people have in common is that there are no layer of information through the court, no computer records, no information regarding the case management, and no official proceeding. There's nothing. My wife and I, Marcel, went down this Wednesday.
Sorry, George. I don't know if I missed it, but do you want to tell us what the charges were?
The charges for the one in 2002. I allegedly forged my wife's signature on a mortgage, and the mortgage, Bank of Ireland mortgage deed. Then it was called Bristol and West. I then made an inquiry to the manager, who was called Paul Meadows at the time, and I knew him quite well. Paul Meadows then said to me, "We don't know of any criminal proceeding that the Bristol and West taken against you." I said, "The police are doing it." He said, "We don't know." And then obviously it transpired the Bank of Ireland wasn't taken over. Bristol was taken over. The Bristol and West did not know. So the police and the council did that themselves. I have that in writing from the Bristol and West, Paul Meadows, who was the then manager.
Is this Redbridge Council we're talking about?
Redbridge Council.
The council that murdered my baby niece.
No. I'm aware of that. What I'm trying to do is be as concise as possible. I know it's the same council. I have told you that before. It is the same Redbridge Council. It's them. So what I was saying to you, and neglect you, we need to collate the information that you've got and I've got, because it's the same counsel, and that's what they're doing to hundreds of thousands of people in this borough. But if we put it together and ask for the prosecution, the lay of information, the computer file for this alleged file, this is where we'll have success, I'm telling you, because they're already aware. The Bristol and West, or now Bank of Ireland, cannot answer me. I've written to the Dublin office, I've sent email, they keep shunning it because they know it was instigation of the Metropolitan Police.
Yeah, but George, you know what the jury can do is say, agree amount of compensation that you're entitled to. Okay, because obviously you have a right to the information, you know, the evidence on which, and you're disputing, you must have disputed the charge at the time, so they should have.
This is where I think, sorry to cut you, but just to put this is where I think Anthony Badalow's point's fine. We need to stick to the court order and the lay of information issued by the court, the case management. As I said, to bring it forward a little, on Wednesday of this week, Marcel and I have the police have a paedophile. Used a paedophile for the last 18 years against us, called Greg Woods. He lives downstairs before us, which is a number 2 Beechwood Park. We live in number 4. We've always suspected there was something with this man. Anytime we made an allegation or serious breach, we had police videos, we get evidence of this man's actions. The police ignored it and turned it against us. Now, fast forward to this week. Allegedly, the police had a case against me in April 2016 that I beat him up outside Beechwood Park, outside his property. It went to court on the 8th of October. Bear in mind, this incident was to have happened in April 2016. The judge, R. Johnson, at Stratford Magistrates Court, heard the evidence. I said, I'm not going to pass it until I see the lay of information, the computer file, and the charges that's laid against me. I don't want to picture it. I need them to show it. The judge refused. I said, I need that. I will not participate until I see that. He said, he'll appoint someone to a fact. I said, you will not, Judge Johnson. What I'm telling you, I stuck to it for a good 2.5 hours. In the end, to cut a long story short, the judge cut the thing short, and I tell him he's a liar. And I said, you have nothing in front of it. The judge got up and he left it, which is not a judge, as we now have come to know. He's not a judge. He left the bench and went off. And then they concocted a lot of nonsense against me, which I have to answer on Monday, the 1st of November. We then confronted the probation service because they're going to be a probation pre-sentence report. They then cut and paste. As I said, that's the video Anthony did, which you all saw. That when they confronted the court staff, the senior management at Bow Magistrate Court, I confronted the probation, and none of them had one single ounce of evidence. So much so that they're now in cahoots as to what to do come Monday. The court. Okay, I
get it.
It's the court the information.
George, we know. I've seen your CCTV footage, right? This is the next door neighbor who accused you of assaulting him whilst he was attacking you with this machine that he was holding.
Well, I'm
is
not
that
sure
the second incident?
Yeah, I'm not sure. Yeah, no. Anyway, the long and short of it is he's a convicted paedophile. So June of this year, the police moved him out of his own property and put another whistle. I don't know what it is, but they put him there, and the police are aware. And he is the one he's allegedly supposed to beat him. And he's actually taking this case against me that is common assault. But on another part of the paper, the CPS said the fraud documents that we got from CPS said it's battering. So we have to then deal with that on Monday of the 1st before a judge at Bow Magistrate Court. So again, as I said, my issue is
footage. You've got CCTV footage.
We've got things. We've got loads and loads going back many years. But the issue is the documents what the courts are held. We need to stick together. Our individual case, we go back to the court of the original charges, alleged charges. This is where it happened. That's why Priti Patel, the Home Secretary, cannot let the police come out with these things. Those computer files have been deleted because they're fraud. They weren't on the computer in the first place. It's Capita's for record. The Libra system is a fraud system. And when they claimed last year, the police, Home Office, allegedly the police Metropolitan accidentally deleted 70,000 files. They're the ones we're talking about. That's what they're trying to hide. They weren't in the computer in the first place. We need to stick to the computer records. That is what's happening. And if we ask for it, I guarantee you that we'll cover more. We'll have more success than you think, because they're running scared now. Come Monday, they will have to give me an answer. The probation service at Bow and the court manager, who's Mrs. Robinson, Kate Robinson, Mr. The so-called Justice Secretary, Steve McAllister. They're all in hiding. The actual court manager, Mr. Mark Alan Burns. Not one single one of them will be able to answer. On Monday, they'll have to keep me in handcuffs unless I get answers. The court records is what we need to insist on. And I guarantee you, without a shadow of a doubt, we'll have more success than going debating. If we go on around and say, they already know, but they know when I go there, I'll go charging it. Probably it's the wrong way, but I need an answer to these allegations that's laid against it. Show me the proof and I will comply. Anthony's right. There's nothing else. Yeah, but once you shake them up that way, Neil, if you stick to what I was saying and you ask for the prosecution when your property was taken.
George, listen. What you're describing in your case, every one of us has got the same thing. We're trying to make a conclusion. Somehow we're going to move fast forward. We're not getting stuck in the mud with individual facts, with individual cases. Because the template is the same. It doesn't change. They will try and kill you. They get you on your own.
Have you ever asked for the computer records from the court, Neela, when they repossess your property?
George, you've gone 18 years older now.
No, it doesn't matter. It's still there. It's a criminal. Have you ever asked? Have you ever asked for the computer records for the repossession of your property? That's why they didn't repossess mine, because I'll be on them like a stickler. Have you ever asked for it?
George, they will tell you, because it's a civil matter. It's a civil matter that they've lost your documents.
They may say that. Have you ever asked? Have you ever asked for the computer records regarding the illegal repossession of your property from the relevant court that they went through? Have you?
Honestly, George, what we're trying to do here is completely different. Yeah, what we're trying to do is move from the civil jurisdiction to a criminal jurisdiction, and then we're trying to hold the authorities to account to stop it.
I've asked a simple. I'm not trying to be antagonistic here. I need to ask a simple question. Your property was repossessed through a court, a county court probably. Have you ever asked for the computer records or compute details that was laid that they've mentioned regarding the illegal repossession of your property? Have you ever asked for it?
I have, yeah. Anthony's been helping me. But
that's where I think we differ, because you don't stick to it.
Because honestly, George, we're fighting a losing battle when we're always on a defense. Yeah, I want to get into an attack position that we can declare the whole of the Redbridge Council as unfit for purpose. We totally dissolve it and we seize their assets. And this is where we're at now, because of what they've done to me, my baby niece, to you, and other cases in Redbridge. We have so many more. They're identical. We need to come to a point now. Which council are we going to take down first, i.e. cease trading, seize their assets, and you do the commercial lien on them individually, and charge them with misprision of treason. So we need to do, you've got the options. You've got Wales, we've got Sussex, we've got Redbridge. Where do you want to start? And Margaret's is Northampton.
Northampton Council.
Yeah. So, we just take the UK PLC gov.uk, whatever. I mean, Barry's the man to do that. We have to let Barry decide. Barry's the guy. Honestly, George, we've got to take a few leaps. We've got to move out of the single case factual things. We've got a million cases. We've got a million cases, George. Honestly, the murder of my baby niece is the top case in the UK. Because Edward came looking for it in 2004 when it had a full proof set. That's where Edward was sent. That was the first case that he came looking for. And that has got the death rates in the National Health Service. It's got social services stealing children. It's got the murder of babies in the NHS. It's got striking off me as a pharmacist, as a professional person. And it's got all the frauds with the coroners, the police. So we've got the baby gone to India. We've got the Law Commission of India dealing with this case and saying we don't have the money to set up magistrates' courts. We're going to move on a little bit, go to the higher jurisdiction.
Nilu, I'm going to say one thing more. I'm going to say one thing more. And this is what I'm a little slightly puzzled about. This is what I'm going to say. Now, in 2002, going back to when I was arrested, now I knew there was something wrong, but I didn't know what it was. Now, had I pursued that in my own way, I wouldn't have got anywhere. Now, how can you be pursuing them for something that's not there? There's nothing there at the high courts. So that's why I believe if we knock on and keep banging on about the computer records, the layer of information, that is where I think you're pursuing something that's not even in the courts. So why are you pursuing something that's not there? That's the bit I don't quite understand. If Margaret Bass decides to want to sort of go through the court and do an appeal like you did, that is a waste of time because it's not in the court system.
No, but we are here to dissolve the councils, dissolve the UK government. That's what we are. 12 people can get together and do anything. That's the thing. We haven't got 12 people right now. We've only got 10 of us. So there is no point in actually putting a case to a jury because we're not, we're just having a general discussion until we get 12 people. But I think we should hear from, we're not allowed to talk for more than 3 minutes.
Okay, I've talked enough.
So Barry's now going to have to speak for 3 minutes and then he passed the stick to somebody else.
Okay.
I can be quicker than that. So, Neela, you weren't involved last time, but we agreed a system for presenting these things in front of the jury and how we do the decisions, so that there would be a pipeline of work as we went along. And what we agreed was that there'd be a macro affidavit that people, fill in and do and present to the court. The jury members then each receive that and then consider it. And then 28 days later, we actually hold a hearing on that case, whatever it may be, George's or Margaret's or Andy's or whatever. And then we make the decision. And then a month later, we then make the judgment. In other words, we make the sentencing or whatever we would decide to do. So we have a pipeline where we can actually address individual cases as and when we need to. And it's done properly, so it's presented properly. We're not asking for volumes of affidavits and evidence. All we want is an affidavit that's been sworn by 3 witnesses in front of 3 witnesses, then it becomes a fact under law. And we're happy to then consider that. So that was kind of what we agreed the other day. I'm not sure we took a vote on it or anything, but that was kind of what we were suggesting.
Because you don't, rather than have to go through all the facts and everything, you've got the factual answers by the acquiescence of whoever that affidavit was sent. So it's been agreed, it's been established. We have a fact established, which is an affidavit. And not an affidavit.
We basically turn their tools on them. So this acquiescence by silence, which they use against us on almost everything, against them. So this is a public forum. By running this, live, we're putting it in the public forum on the internet. It's a bit like the notice put in Margaret's shed door. We're doing it. It may be inaccessible to them, or they may not be paying attention, but it's lawful and legal at the same time. We're back into Jason's double domains, but there we are. But yeah, go on, Dave. You're muted.
I'm on it.
Yeah.
Rather than start dishing out compensation, so to speak, surely the conclusion should be that there is a case to answer, because the criminal aspects of the evidence that has been submitted and approved, and therefore the situation needs to be reassessed in the view of criminal evidence, because it comes back to if there's criminal offences being committed, then surely you don't have to fill in an application form.
I'm not following you.
Well, they always when you report a criminal offence, they want an application form submitted. You have to apply for authorities to in compliance with obeying the law. They look the other way and want you to prove that the law has been broken. But
yeah, I think what David is saying is that we want to be able to criminally prosecute the individuals once we've established it's a crime and not a civil matter.
Well, this was why we wanted to have this system where we present the evidence and give 30 days to the people that we're accusing of whatever. Like in Margaret's case, we invite the people involved to present their side. Whether or not they do is up to them, but they've had the offer. We've had a due process, and by their silence, they've agreed with what we've stated publicly.
Yeah.
So you can then take that much further. Remember, an affidavit is a fact under law. It's written in stone in whatever grammaticus or grammar you write, whatever language you choose to use. It's a fact under law of the language that you've chosen to use. So, nobody can argue with that. If they've acquiesced to it over 30 days and they've not argued, it's a fact. And even a judge, even God can't argue with it. And that's where our strength lies.
That's true.
And as George said earlier on, it's about getting that detail and being armed with the facts, because they can't get out from under that. Andy's original thing about the caseman file, the minute you've got that, or you ask for it and they can't present it, then the logic is, well, if you haven't got a caseman file, it wasn't a real court, therefore that doesn't stand. And by presenting that in the correct due course, then you've legally framed them with logic. There's nothing else they can do. And when you've done that at this jury, we can then enforce it civilly. We do it civilly first, under the onus of proof that we've already got. Nobody can argue with that, because you've got affidavits and a true jury of 12 or more, and true. And then we go to the criminal side, where they have to enforce it criminally because we've proven it civilly.
I agree with that.
That's a better way. That's a much better way to go.
Yeah.
You've got the source of the information, the reading of the information, the presentation of the information, the confirmation or denial of the information, whatever happens. And we're happy to have people on here to present information from councils and argue their points if they wish. And in due course, we'll make a judgment on it as fair people and true. And then that decision is handed down civilly. We then have and I'm happy to enforce the civil side of stuff. And then at the end of that, we go to the police with that file and go, now you can enforce the criminal side. And if they don't, we have a criminal case against the police as well.
Yeah, I agree with that.
It's the only way we're going to get any, equation that gives us any satisfaction.
Yeah.
And Andy's idea with this was where we take a percentage of each case when we do get compensation, and we use it to support the people that don't have the money to present the cases and do the work themselves.
Yeah.
Maybe 10% or something like that as an overhead. And ultimately, if we get larger cases like Nilu's and Andy's and Dave's, you've got substantial amounts of money up in 7, 8, 9 and 10 figures. You can then run local area hit squads, if you like, in vans that can go and prevent repossessions and out thug the thugs.
Yeah.
And if might is right, if that's what they're telling us is the way they want to run things, then we just need a bigger gang.
Yeah.
I've got a 7-seater. I just need a petrol tank filled.
Well, I'll pay the petrol.
Yeah. That's it. That's
thoughts there anyway.
Yes, I mean, on the grounds of that, and let me just mingle now then between what George is saying, there's also what Jason, because we've got Jason here as well, we've got Margaret, we've got anybody else that's had a court, that's alleged to have had a court case. So the presumption now is make the claim against them that it's completely criminal. It's completely criminal, therefore they have to produce the material evidence to substantiate different. Now you've got the fact that they can't, because they'll never be able to produce it. Therefore, by acquiescence, we've got the claim now. We've got it sorted. There was never a court case. They counterfeited the court. Job done. It's not up for us, because we're the innocent ones. They're the ones that are now being put under the pressure. They're now the ones that have to provide the evidence, which because we're just asking for it. They're never going to give it because they can't give it. So we're not asking them for it. We're calling them. We're calling them out. We're telling them what they are. We're telling them exactly what they are, and they've got to prove.
Yeah, with evidence to back it all up.
Yeah. So we have to put the claim on them. Therefore, within the 28 days, we've got their answer.
Quite happy to comply with a proper legal court order that's embossed with a wet signature and complies with the law. Quite happy to comply with that. But what they're producing
Is anybody
are not
late
court
with
orders,
the
are they?
court?
They're forged documents that they've trumped up. So you're in this domain again, aren't you? You've entered into the corrupt domain of forged court documents. We want a wet signature, don't we? And they have to be embossed, otherwise they're just pieces of paper.
What we want, David,
Rubbish, isn't it?
What we need is to be made certain. We want the forensics of the court. We need the forensics because they've got to produce the material evidence to substantiate what they're saying. And therefore, if it's a lawful and authentic, valid court, they have to produce that material evidence to validate.
That's right, yeah.
And
You want a proper court order, yeah.
What is the fee to lay a claim?
Sorry again.
Hang on. We've got
to lay a claim with the court.
7 days.
No, how much is it? How much do you have to pay to lay a file with the court?
Oh, well, it depends on the amount that you're claiming. Barry knows those things.
I think if Reg is asking about a criminal case or laying of information in the magistrate court, then it's free. It's completely free to do that. There's no charge. There's no.
Is a magistrate court a real court though? Isn't it administrative?
Well, you can ask. You can go.
I mean, with a real court, a common law court, to lay a claim against the government.
We're talking civil courts here. We're talking civil courts first. This is where we're going. What we was talking about was going through the civil courts, yeah, small claims courts.
Yeah, but treason isn't civil, is it, Andrew?
Is Barry trying?
That would be a rented room by the council.
Let me speak. Right, we're establishing, right, yeah, a crime. They're going to refuse to accept it's a crime. So we're going to establish it a crime by going through the civil courts. Then we've established that it's a crime that they can't argue with. They're just going to say it's civil. It's civil, nothing to do with us. Once we've got it established by the civil courts, it's established. Now, if they fail to do it now, yeah, you've got the backing of that to say, tough luck. Now we've got the claim on them now for not acting. Yeah, that's what we're trying to get at.
And as for fees, if you're on benefits, you have a remission of fees anyway with the courts. And if you're not entitled to fee remission, then because it's a criminal case you're presenting, there are no fees. You're reporting a criminal act, and they're required by law. If it's a criminal act and we've held the jury and we've got the documentation, we've done the 28 days, the affidavit's proven, then the police are required by law to investigate whether they're corrupt or not. And if they don't, then you have a second case against them.
It's holding them to account. But
and as for whether it's a real court, we're more real than any court that you're mentioning in Britain.
Yeah.
All the way to the High Court. There's more true and just jurors here than there are in any of these made-up courts that they talk about.
Yeah.
There's a squeaking noise. Can we just not ad-lib because it cuts the speakers out? And can we all strictly mute until the person has finished speaking? And we can't kind of have one-to-one conversations. Okay, so Barry, you were going to say something. Can you just clarify what you've just said here? Because so the question was that the Reg asked that how much is it to pay the fees? Obviously, we're not going to charge any fees for laying down this, and we're going to treat it as crimes, state crimes against us, isn't it? It's all criminal. What we're going to be dealing with are all state crimes against the citizens.
Right, well, it comes back to enforcement again, and that's why Andy and I were saying we do the exact same script as Stephen Lawrence's mother did. So Stephen Lawrence's mother did not receive justice in the criminal courts, so she took civil case and proved beyond doubt in the civil environment that the men were responsible for the crime. And when she'd done that, she packaged that information up and presented it to the criminal case, and then they had to prosecute. So that's the script we're talking about.
Yeah, but you've just contradicted everything now, because you've just said that having frustrated the criminal justice system, that the invocation of the civil justice system to re-invoke the criminal justice system. But we're coming.
How else are you going to get satisfaction, Nilu? It's all right talking about taking all the social workers to court and suing every council and closing down the government. You've got to do it in small stages, and you've got to do it in bite-sized chunks that will actually work. When you win a case for Margaret, and you win a case for you, and you win a case for Dave, then you're chipping away at it. You cannot do a global case like your email, where you're doing 6,000 different subjects over 55 years that covers so many cases and information. It's impossible. Even if it was a real court, and even if it was a real jury, it couldn't work. That's why I sent that stroppy email to you and the group. It's got to be bite-sized chunks. So we start at the beginning. If it's a murder of a child, we start on that. If it's a repossession of a house, we start with that. And as Andy has said, and Jason reminded us, the minute you ask for the evidence that they've used against you, like George, they haven't got it because it wasn't a real court. There is no record. They have nothing to rely on. You win.
Yeah, I'm just wondering how much time we have to do it that way, you know, once that. And I thought, because the other thing is that if you've got the most serious case and you deal with that then by precedence, you've solved all the other cases.
You're better starting, because it's all about case law, isn't it? So you're better off starting, because basically what we're doing here, we're trying to get the people out there that don't know how to get around it, that they know intuitively that they're being screwed over, but they don't have a clue of how to do it. So we're trying to show a way that's going to be constructive and work. That's what we're trying to do. You know, okay, yes, I'd love it to be done now, right now, this second, but we haven't got time. We haven't got the time. There is a structure of time, and that time's got to be given, because we've got to be shown to be doing the right thing. And then when you've shown to do the right thing, then there's nothing that they can moan about. No one can complain. Nobody. I'm not talking, they'll complain about anything, but no one's going to listen to them complaining, because we've done the right thing. And everybody's going to see it. And the more people see it, when them people are complaining, all they're going to do is shine the light on their guilt. That's all it's going to do. And that's what's going to be puts the light within inside the people, the knowledge within inside the people, which will give them the conviction to join in.
For example, Edward Ellis, equity lawyer Edward Ellis, has been out and about doing hundreds and hundreds of cases for the last 16, 17 years.
25 years.
Sorry?
25 years.
Yeah, okay. And so we have all the work done there. We've got affidavits, we've got all the names of all the culprits, we've got the crimes, we've got the injured parties, and you know, we don't really want to have to start from A when we're already at Y. You know, we'd like to be able to say, I mean, we've all done our journeys, and Andy's done his. He's an advocate. Anthony Badaloo's an advocate. Edward is an advocate. I'm an advocate. Barry is an advocate. George is also an advocate. I'm sure David is an advocate because he does all these emails. And now Margaret is an advocate. So, you know, and Reg is an advocate. And Alex is an advocate.
Don't miss anyone off.
You know, we're all advocates. Come on, we've got it all tied to a knot. Honestly, we've got it all there. We've done so much work, but it's just a case of tying a knot that, you know, we can confidently say that. Go on, Barry.
Even Edward uses bite-sized chunks. Even Edward doesn't do 262 cases in one case. Even Edward runs the script for each case individually with all of the pertinent evidence and presents it in a logical format. And that's exactly what we have to mirror.
But we're not going to repeat his
No.
efforts because we already have that. We already
No,
have
we're
all
not.
the bite
What we
size.
can do is we can run with Edward's cases and as a jury convene and make a decision in those cases to present to the Lord Bishops if we choose to.
Well, exactly. Why don't we start with the, you know, the biggest chunk first?
I
And
think
then-
Edward's case is the largest chunk. In monetary value and decision, Edward's case is in the billions. Billions.
Well, Edward's case is about his brother, isn't it? The murder of his brother.
That's the start of it.
Yeah. And then Edward says that his brother wasn't told that he had cancer. That's the thing about not, you know, that he died and they didn't diagnose the cancer.
The conspiracy involved that, and it involved the theft of the family farm and the theft of the family estate and the theft of intellectual property of Edwards, yes.
Yeah. But I have a problem with not being told that you've got cancer and then dying, because most anti-cancer treatment kills people before the cancer does.
And your point is?
My point is that you can't prove an intention because of the circumstantial evidence that mostly when people have cancer, it's the medication that speeds up the death.
Just follow the money in that case and look at who benefited from the seizing of the farm and who owns it now.
Well, that's what I'm saying is that the, you know, the murder proof isn't there, but the loss of the asset, theft of the assets is there. You know, it doesn't
follow the money in any case. Look at the Bank of Scotland seizing George's house and so on. You just follow the money. You know, somebody's benefiting from seizing Margaret's house, legally or illegally, it doesn't matter. The fact is that somebody's benefiting from that.
Well, why don't we go for the FCA? Because I just made a call today for Anthony Badaloo to the FCA because and he wants to do a video with me about it, and that will wrap up all the banking thefts of mortgage frauds and interest, and all the theft of homes for the purposes of trafficking children. That's what the bottom line is. And the call I made to the FCA today was literally accusing them of money laundering for the purposes of stealing homes, for the purposes of killing whistleblowers. If you make someone homeless, you've killed them. That's dead. You're out in the streets. So Anthony, in that respect, the fact that they've stolen Anthony's, frozen his assets, stolen his income as a financial advisor. And I just phoned them to say, you know, you're stealing £4,000 from him every month for 6 years, and you've got to give him £50,000 as a thing. And he's given, you know, he's given me the information. So the FCA, I think all our mortgage cases, and Anthony's case could be the main case, and then we put all the theft of homes under the FCA because they're criminals. I've told them that. Nikhil Rathi is the CEO. He has a criminal liability for attempted murders of people when they.
Right, I'll reiterate. You've gone on to 5 different subjects here. You've gone on to murders. You've gone on to conspiracy. You've gone on to seizure of houses. You've gone on to money laundering. You've gone on to attempted manslaughter. You cannot bunch them all in under one umbrella. You cannot. They may be criminals in charge of all of those, but you have to break it down into bite-sized pieces.
True.
If nothing else, because it's confusing for anybody that's not involved in anything.
Yeah.
Well, my point.
So just to go back what George was saying, and also what Jason will be saying, just what Margaret will be saying is the same thing. The thing is, we have one small thing, that attaches to every single one's case, that there never was a case.
That's the point taken.
There was never a case.
That's it.
That's it. Because at the end of the day, we're looking here to try and not so much destroy. I mean, I have to say, if you aim to destroy a government, you're aiming yourself to be an attack. You're going to be killed. Yeah. So we're not here to destroy the government. We're here to remove the cancer. Yeah. We're not here, well, because we haven't got a government yet. We're here to create some form of governance in so much as a narco system in that form. But firstly, what we have got there as the tool, which is a building that's operating as a court, which will hear the paper, yeah, to be making sure that that's operating correctly, open and transparent for the world to see, so that the people can see whether the judgment's correct or not, and make sure it's operating properly and that there's a record. Because right now there isn't any. There is no record of anybody's case. So we don't have a court. We don't have any courts yet.
That doesn't help us, Andy. That doesn't help us to say there's no record of a case, because they kidnapped George and tried to kill him many times. That's the case.
But Neil, you're missing the point. Neil, sorry, you are missing the point. That is it. There's no record. And they have nothing. That is what the issue is. I think what Abaz said earlier on.
All you're talking about, George, is that they say that it never happened, but crimes were committed against you. And why are you looking for something that they've destroyed? They've destroyed the evidence.
No. I think
it never was there. Jason, let Jason have a speak actually, because Jason hasn't spoke yet.
Yeah.
Hi everyone. So yeah,
Hi Jason.
Where George is coming from, I'm finding the same thing recently. They've taken, you're right, they've taken my daughter a year and a half ago, 2 months old. I had a solicitor for the first year. Started looking through the documents, got in touch with Andrew, got in touch with Anthony, asked for my documentation, the caseman file, and all the computerized court records. I got an email back from the judge saying they don't exist. Then on the day of court, filed a notice, basically a conditional accept in provide me the documentation and we'll carry on with this case. We'll engage in it 100%. I've got a signed letter from a manager at the court, signed with a wetting signature saying, here's the family man that you requested. But what they gave me was a data protection full inquiry.
Wasn't the caseman file. It was just
the caseman file doesn't exist.
Yeah.
I've asked for all the documentation the council laid to issue. I've asked the council provide me all the documentation laid at court to issue these proceedings against me. I've asked the court to provide it. Haven't had it yet.
Nothing.
Listen to this. Even after the hearing, I was there, litigant in person, no solicitor. They send the court order. They don't serve it to me. They serve it to a solicitor that I fired. And I rang the court up a few months ago and asked them, why did I not get served the order? They said, the court computer says that you had legal representation. And then I spoke to a court manager the week after, the actual court manager, and he's telling me the court computers, the information is wrong on there. So I said, that's a problem, isn't it? He says, not really. So I've asked through notices, I've asked to see the caseman, the family man, nothing. Just keep putting me back to this order that's been created by the council, I think.
So Jason, I think you would agree then, and I think you would too, George, there, that if we create an affidavit to them claiming that they are all criminals by doing what they're doing, they now have to produce the material evidence to substantiate it, because you've got the facts that they've provided you already with the facts, but now you're giving them 28 days to produce that material evidence, that forensics, to prove them innocent or they are guilty within the 28 days.
Well, they're carrying on with this. Now I've got an adoption hearing. Last year was a placement order. I was told that's the final hearing. I thought it was all over. But it turns out I've got an adoption hearing in 4 weeks' time. And it's got a different case number. It's got a different case number, reference number, whatever you want to call it. Yeah. I'm going to apply for the caseman file, but I'm going to put both court numbers on it, on the application.
Going to get the same answer again. That's why I say,
what I'm saying is, it doesn't matter what you serve them, what you do to them. We're dealing with criminals, terrorists who've been doing this for years, who cannot hold their hands up and say, you're right. They cannot let go. It's that deep that the only way I feel that I'm going to get any remedy is I've got to stand in court and I'm going to send that judge back to fucking hell. Sorry about, excuse my language. But we've been trying everything for a year to get some documentation. All I want, you know what, give me my documentation. Let me move on with my life. Nothing.
Barry?
Jason, can I just say, I just want to illustrate before.
1 second, George. Barry was going to say.
Barry was first.
Jason, can I just say, civil CPR, write this down if you've got a pen. CPR 31.14.
What's that? Is that
It's the civil procedure rules that require them to give you the documentation they're relying upon.
You know what? I think I've already included all that in a letter, in a notice. I've recorded
Okay,
everything.
but listen, bear with me. Do it by recorded delivery now, before the hearing. And if you get to the hearing and they haven't provided you with everything you've mentioned in that document, then you can have the hearing turned aside under their own rules.
Sorry,
Okay, CPR 31.14.
CPR. Let's write this down in my notes. But I've been at this for a year, and it's, you know what? I've been ringing the courts. I've been finding out so much stuff, like things that aren't right about my case.
Yeah. But do it in writing. If you do it by ringing or email or anything else, they can ignore it. They're required by law to answer a formal letter.
So CPR
31.14. All right, and just say you're relying on those documents in order to build your defence at the hearing.
That was put. I remember that was put in my first draft order.
It was
draft order.
Okay.
Yeah,
and they haven't provided it.
No, I got an email back. I got an email back 45 minutes later.
Yeah.
45 minutes from the court.
Yeah.
Saying there is no. What was it, Andrew? There's no paperwork. There's no particular claim. There is no file. Please come to court on Monday to validate these proceedings.
Yeah, and that, by the way, that email came from the judge. That email came from the judge. He also got another letter, another email straight after that, which told him to destroy all the bundle that was sent, destroy the information on the other email from his solicitor.
Bloody hell.
Jason, which council are we talking about?
Nottingham.
Nottingham. What other cases have we got in Nottingham? Is Melanie Shaw there? Melanie Shaw and
I'd see someone, Martha.
Martha's there as well.
Yeah.
I think, Baz, sorry, I just got to say this just before this. What Jason said just now highlight exactly what we should be all doing. They're not going to provide anything because there's nothing there. Jason has done exactly what all of us should have. Provide me with the court records and lay of information. We've beaten up that. Forget about sending it. They're not going to answer. I will. I'm telling you, that is it.
Could I suggest that when because this is like an emergency case, that if we could get 12 of us before, I've got a low battery. I'll have to go soon. But if we can get this case in front of a jury before then, because they don't have a case at all proved, so that the child has to be returned to her loving dad.
This is the reply I got from the judge when I asked the documents. The first four letters were the first 4 words were, or 5. I do not. That tells you where we're at.
Breaking up, Jason. Say that again. Repeat it again.
Oh, sorry. The first, when I submitted the thing for the documents, the judge replied, "I do not understand this request."
Do not stand that request.
I believe. Listen, what we're dealing with, they don't care what documents you send because they're obviously doing something with them.
I get what you're saying, but listen, because the procedures they have to follow, even in their corruption, there's a script even they have to obey. So if they don't obey it, as the judge hasn't with your case, when you get to the hearing, you can have it turned aside straight away. And if they don't, you can simply have a judicial review in their own rules and have it turned aside again.
Well, hopefully, but I've got a hearing of the court case. I've got a recording of the court case where we asked the one witness, who's a new social worker, do you have first-hand knowledge of this matter? She lied. The judge covers for her. Then after, we've got the judge saying, I'm going to take hearsay as fact. I will allow hearsay to be used as fact.
Serious.
There's a judicial review just
we asked if we're in a court record, no reply.
Judicial review.
I've got the judge saying, because we also said the court applications from the council, there's no court fee on them and there's no signature on them.
No witness statement.
Yeah, and then the judge says this, I'm going to allow for the council to sign this form a year and a half later.
He doesn't have that power. Even in
Well,
their
I've got
even in their
I've got
corruption.
it recorded. They've done
Yeah.
it. I'm telling you now, they've done it. They've pushed ahead.
Yeah.
I haven't seen my daughter since February, and I don't know where she is. I've been told she's with a new family, the prospective adopters, and I've got an adoption hearing coming up. And at the minute, it looks like I'm going in there because I'm going to go and stand my ground against this judge.
Yeah.
Actor.
Whereabouts
not.
are you?
Nottingham. I'm going to send the judge back in, and I'm basically going to take jurisdiction of the court. I'm going to dismiss the case. I'm going to try it. You know what? If it works, it works.
Very much.
It can't get any worse. They've got my daughter. Haven't spoke to her. My partner, bless her, she's been in bed for 10 months. I'm not even joking.
I still think, Jason, I think take the advice that, you know, Barry says that we need to do something.
Oh no, I will take the advice.
Before.
I'll file all the documents because they all help.
But I think do it again.
Yeah, I'll file all the documents.
Yeah, do it. Just keep doing it again and again until you get your remedy, because they can only hide it for so long. You know, somebody will come along and be honourable. You don't know. Anyway, I'll give you a hand.
I feel at the last hearing.
I'm willing to give you a hand with the communications. Okay. If you want me to, I'll make inquiries. And what I tend to do is
thank you. Yeah.
All I do is I'll ask the court to check, to review the file, to ensure that the grounds of the cause of the case are you know, valid. When we're saying that these are baseless cases, then it's very easy to ask them to review the file themselves, because once they know that you know that they're committing a crime, then they'll back off. But most people don't realize.
Unless you catch them out a year and a half into it, where they've already got my daughter and they can't return her. Where you know what? If I wasn't dumbed down and brainwashed all my life, when they came for my daughter, I would know. I'm a man. You have no authority here. Bye bye. But
hindsight.
It seems to me is you and
you're breaking up again, Jason.
Basically, what I believe from what I've seen. We're breaking up. Let me go back to my house because I'm in the garden.
Breaking up again, mate.
Yeah. I'm afraid I've got to go because I've got carers coming. I'm afraid.
Okay, Baz. No worries, mate.
Okay, Baz. See you soon. Bye-bye.
When is the next hearing? When are we next meeting?
Next one, Baz. Next one, Baz. It's down to you, buddy.
Oh, why is it always up to me? That's not fair.
Monday.
Could I ask one quick question, Baz?
Yeah.
So basically, I'm getting the impression as well from the way I've been talking to the solicitors we fired. Yeah. I think the solicitor that was working for my partner, I think he's basically authorised something after we fired them, basically.
Yeah.
It's obvious he has, yeah.
I don't know, because I'm asking them for a document they sent to court to say that I fired them, and they're not sending them. Even the solicitors aren't sending the documents.
Right. Well, again, remember, Andy's, you give them a deadline. So send the document again in writing. You know, if you're saying that I fired you or haven't fired you, whatever, give me a document within this time. And because you've got a hearing in 4 weeks, give it 14 days.
Yeah.
If I don't hear from you within 14 days, you're confirming the following points. Boom, 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 boom. Do the same with the court. I've not received the documentation in the court. I've had no court orders, blah, blah, blah. Are you now confirming in writing that the judge said that you can accept hearsay, that you can accept the signature of a form a year and a half late? Put it in writing. You frame them with logic. At the very least, I can take a judicial review for you.
Yeah, well, I don't know what that entails, but yeah, anything.
Yeah,
I'll do anything, everything. I've been battling this for so long. You know what?
Yeah.
It feels like I'm just left to one chance to try and basically I've got to go in there.
Yeah.
And get the judge to leave 3 times.
It's a shame we can't all travel up to Nottinghamshire to be in the public gallery.
We can though, if those of us who can. I'm prepared to do that.
It's a family court though.
Yeah. No, but
so they might let anyone.
They won't let you in.
It's closed. Okay.
I can go in as an advocate.
Right. Yeah, we can talk about that.
Right.
We can talk
I'll
about
have a
that.
look at the price of a train ticket.
Well, I'll reimburse you or whatever. But let's do it.
Yeah, I've got to go.
Before
Yeah.
you go,
Yeah.
before just 1 second, because George has got to go back to court on Monday.
Right.
It was meant to have been for sentencing, but I'm not sure what's going to happen now with all this thing with the what they called them, probation.
Probation.
Yeah.
You did have a very dry throat there, George. I think you should isolate, mate, for at least 14 days.
Yeah.
It sounded like you had a bit of a dry cough
You
there,
can
mate.
go on to the NHS website and you can, because I mean, yeah, I think you might just have that, that
Yeah,
COVID.
you had a bit, you were a bit, the
You could have-
temperature was a bit higher. We could see it on the camera.
I think, you can
Okay.
self-isolate. You'll have to self-isolate.
Self-isolation then. That's what it's gonna be. Yeah. that's-
Like when Margaret was poorly, yeah? Remember?
Margaret's muted. She's trying to speak. I think if Baz has to go, we'll
Yeah.
carry on.
Okay.
We'll carry on though.
Thank
Can we
you.
just
Okay.
carry on? So we'll
Okay.
give Margaret a chance to speak and Alex to speak as well. Is that okay?
Take
Yeah.
care, Baz.
Yeah.
Okay, bye.
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 Thanks, Barry.
Yes. Yeah. What? Sorry. Yeah. What I was saying is, if we can, help to go to court, even if we're not allowed in, we can stand outside. We can wait outside the court. I think that will be a lot of help for each of everyone.
Yeah. So George, where is it on Monday? Just in case you do decide to go.
No, but
Well,
it's
I
not
will
going
go.
down.
I will go. I will go. I will go. I won't be. I will go.
And
It's,
where is it?
Bow Magistrate. Bow Magistrate.
What
At-
time?
10:30, 11.
And are you happy for people to come?
You can bring everybody.
That's
Yeah,
called
everybody.
Thames. That's also called Thames Magistrates Court now, isn't it?
It's called Thames. Stratford's called Thames, but it's Bow Road, just opposite the old police station, right next to Bow Road District Line Station. It's immediately next to the Bow Road District Line Station. Yeah, whoever comes, because we will be having. I will want answers, and I'm going to stick to that. Whatever they say, they will probably have to keep it there, but there's no way I'm going to just give up that because I know what they're hiding, and I honestly do agree what Jason is going through. That is what the issue is, and if he sticks to it long enough, and there are more people willing to come forward with similar cases, I will tell you without a shadow of a doubt, it's the court order scam. There is nothing there, and you cannot be chasing something that's not there. They know they have nothing, and I can count countless cases I've got. I've got the same thing with the Thames Water, Sarah Bentley. She's got nothing. They've done the same thing. Cadent Gas, yeah, they've loads and loads of them. And I know when I asked for the court that the court the information that was laid against me with these organizations, there's nothing.
I also have someone that's.
Jason, stick to it, Jason. You will get a result because they have nothing.
I will stick to it, but it's just what I'm seeing. It's just what it is. I've caught them out. They know I've caught them out.
Exactly.
It's like catching a bank robber saying, just put the goods down, go home. They're not going to do that. They're going to carry on what they're doing and try and get away with it.
Yeah.
And you're talking earlier about how you're going to let the general public, I'm telling you, that's going to be very hard. We need a result. That's how you wake people up, because I've got a big family and they're all very supportive. But even to this day, they're telling me you should have just done what social services said. They don't. The council, police, etc., are working together as a conspiracy to destroy us all. They can't see it. They can't grasp it. They can't believe it. But what I'm hoping at this court hearing, I'm hoping I can get it thrown out, and then we'll be able to show people this is what's happening.
Yeah.
And
That's the reason. I mean, the thing is, what you've got to understand, it's like in everything else, isn't it? You're basically gonna open a floodgate.
Yeah.
So the first one, whoever's the first one to do it, is going to open the floodgate.
I agree.
Because now you've got, now you've seen. But to get these people to do it is like near on. Well, you can imagine the pressure that they must be under.
Jason, are you familiar with the case of Melanie Shaw?
not off the top of my head. Who's Melanie Shaw? Has anyone helped her out or anything? Or
Well, she's a satanic ritual abuse survivor in
Right.
Nottingham. And she spoke about her experiences with the children's homes in Nottingham.
Well, can I
And
put one more thing in front, just before you go on, so I don't disturb you? My partner, this was all targeted at her. They got no background on, listen, they got no background on me, but they made up a line, they put a line in the document at the start of the proceedings saying, I had a police record for child pornography. And then when I brought it up at this meeting, at a child in need meeting, I said, what's this? Yeah. They brought me a report 2 days later, says, it's been redacted. Can you destroy that old report, please? But what I'm saying is, my partner, she's had a tough upbringing. She's been through the care system herself. Her mum was in the care system. And at the start of these proceedings, they brought out this big document saying, oh, you've been diagnosed with this, diagnosed with that. And she was like, I can't remember that. She said, can you show me the medical record, please? They couldn't get the medical record. Targeting her, I believe, from when she was in care. And her mum before that. That's what I believe. But
yeah, so Jason, that is very common in this country. There is an unstated policy that mothers who have been in care themselves, when they have the children are stolen. We have so many of those cases. They want to steal children. They want easy targets. And this is the excuse that they use, that they think they're going to get away with, but we're not going to let them get away with that.
no, I'm not.
We're not.
I've seen firsthand what it does to families. I've heard about it from friends that have had the kids taken. A friend of mine, the lady was, I never knew she had a kid taken, but she was a bit lost the plot. I never knew why, from my area. And then I spoke to her sister one day and she told me, and I was like, right. And then I've seen it firsthand. And I don't know what's given me the strength. You know, God's given me the truth to keep me strong.
Good.
And
yeah, my granddaughter was stolen by social services.
Yeah.
Over future emotional harm.
Yes. Bollocks.
Language.
Sorry. Oh, sorry. I keep forgetting.
Don't try to do that, because we could get, we get our channels shut down and stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, I understand. Yeah. So your granddaughter, is she still in care?
Yeah. It's over a year now. It's probably about 2 years now. I've tried everything. There's nothing that we can do. In fact, it was my daughter actually said, Dad, leave it now. She'd be settled in with that family and everything, so just leave it. But what's on my mind, is she settled in with that family? Has she been abused? Has she been ritualed? All those
that's been going through my head. No, that's been going through my head non-stop, mate, non-stop. But you know what is? I've got to believe that there's some good families out there.
Yeah. Don't get me wrong. Yeah, I hope to God she's been adopted to a beautiful family. But there again, it's those things that you don't know, because you're not.
So are you still involved in what court?
No, it's all. No, the court thing's all over. It's gone to full adoption. It's all been signed, sealed, delivered.
Frank, which council are you with that case?
Bury Council.
Okay.
Because
it's also it's the same council that tried to do the Mental Health Act on me.
Frank, has your daughter asked for the case file?
Ask for everything. There's no paperwork there. They make it all up, and they'll do what they want to do. It's as simple as that.
Yes, that's what I'm finding.
I think we're gonna have to we're all gonna. They don't want any stable families that are happy together. This country's policies break up families, and we're going to have to deal with the policies that give housing to single parents, give priority to single parents, when the priority of the state should be to keep families together so children have mums and dads. Well, funny enough, when they steal your children, they put them with complete strangers and they call them mum and dad, when these people are just making money out of money laundering.
Yeah, and the thing that I did find out when I was doing a bit more digging into it, that the child was re-adopted from the adopted parents.
It's
So it's a double.
subcontracting to third
Yeah,
parties.
so my grandchild was adopted. She was with that family for about a year or something, and then automatically Sarah gets a letter every year, and then to find out that she's been adopted to another family, because the handwriting is different on the letters.
Yeah, so the children's cases, they're very sensitive cases, but they're very important cases.
Can I just say one thing quickly? Because did you have a solicitor?
No.
No. What, throughout the whole thing?
Through the whole thing, mate.
So, yeah. See, this is what I'm finding. See, they're getting people. With my friend, sorry, my efforts are up. With my friend Dean Willis.
Could I suggest that Jason and Frank get together off the air, because we were just going to do the 3-minute for those people who haven't spoken. So Alex, do you want to speak? Say anything? You're muted. You're muted, Alex.
Yes, I would like to share a few ideas. So I've been listening to all the conversations this evening. But what I would like to say is that we all know that the law courts in UK and Romania and all over Europe, Spain, Sweden, Italy, in all these countries, these law courts can only make recommendations and share their opinions. That's all they can do. They don't have any more jurisdiction. With our common law, we can approve or disapprove their decisions. So we just, because lately I've been having some, I've been winning my court cases, both in UK and Romania. So I'm very happy. So once they will share their opinion that I win the case, we put their decision through our common law court. Even if it's a decision I like and I'm happy with and I'm winning, that decision, it's still their opinion. I cannot enforce that, you know? Because if I want to do some enforcement, they will just laugh in my face, as they did. They did, yeah. So I had a customer in Romania, unidentified people wearing masks. They showed up at his 16-bedroom villa, and they set the house on fire. They threw petrol in all bedrooms. They set the house on fire. Luckily, there was no one in the house. The house was empty. And he had insurance. Of course, it took 1 year. He won the case, but the insurance company, they just don't want to respect the court order because they don't have to. Yeah. So the insurance company was supposed to pay him something like £400,000. They just said, they put it in writing, we don't want to respect this court order, this decision. We don't have to. Bye, and we're not giving you any money. You know, so if we put that decision through a common law court, or we can even set up our own EU law court, because I'm an EU citizen in the team, so we have jurisdiction in the European Union as well. That's how their game works, our game, or the game, so to speak. And then we will be winning. This is the way I see that things will move on. And this is how it will be happening in the future. It can be like in the next 5 years, 20 years, 50 years, I don't know. But this is where...
Alex, do you think it's a good idea to take a case, a very serious case, like case, and then we do use it as a precedence on all the other cases using the same law?
Well, we can, I mean, we are using the law anyway, whether it's common law, EU law, UK law. The thing is, I already have a strategy that works. So we use this strategy, we take them to court, take civil cases, same like Barry said earlier. We take civil cases, we win the civil cases, but then even if we win, that's just their opinions, you know. We will have a piece of paper saying you won. We can do, oh yeah, we're so happy we won, but we can't enforce that. Nobody will respect that court order. Yeah. So if the families with the kidnapped children, they win in court. Even if they win, they will have a court order, say, even if it's signed by a judge and it says you need to return the child to the family, to the biological family, the adoptive family will just say, no, we don't want to respect that court order, and there's nothing you can do. And that's the end of the story. It needs to go further through an EU law court, common law court, or higher jurisdiction. That's what I mean.
So that would go. So that would go when doing that. Then that's basically what Barry's saying. Once you've got that win, as you say, that once you've got
Yes.
that win, you've now proven the crime. Then you go into the criminal side. And if the police don't act, then you take them again. This is what I mean. It's like,
Yeah. So we need to follow step 1, step 2, step 3. We can't just go to step 9 and, you know.
Yeah.
If we want to start a building, we start with the foundation in floor 1. We cannot start by building floor number 5. You know?
Yeah, so like you say, I've already got all the documentation. I've already got the council served, the CEO served, solicitors, barristers, the courts. Now I need to win this one and then move on from there.
Yes.
But
Sure.
that's if we can get a case like where someone wins it and they don't respect the court order, that
Yes.
might spark a public awakening. Something like that could spark. And you go to
Yes.
some media, they have to cover it. Yeah.
Yes, we need to have a look at what's happening in Poland and Hungary. You know, there's this debate between the European Union and Poland, the government and the law courts in Poland, and that's the jurisdiction argument. That's what we need to get into. You know, law courts in Poland, they can only make recommendation, and that's it. They don't like it, and also they don't know it. They are not aware that they can only make recommendations, and they don't like it. And it's a public outrage. They are declaring war to the European Union. I'm sorry, they already lost the war. The war that they are talking about, they lost in 2008, 2009, you know, when the Treaty of Lisbon was ratified by their leaders, their president and their government, parliament.
Does Poland have a problem with child kidnaps?
I'm only sharing what I see in the news.
Because
Like
the
it's
UK, the UK
some-
has a big problem about that.
like something funny that I saw in the news about Poland, the parliament in Poland, they issued a law that says, basically says that Poland, the law in Poland is above the European Union law, which on its own, that law is null and void.
So coming back to Jason's case, right?
Yeah.
The child was taken without any reason. They're based on a perjury, based on a perjury of something that they withdrew. So the fact is that he has a right to have his child reinstated to before the perjury. So it was a predetermination based on a perjury. Then they withdrew the perjury, and now so he's entitled to have his daughter back.
Oh, this would be again the type of conversation that you and I we had the other day about how in the last 12 years all crime was legal. So in the last 12 years of transition period, it was like in those American movies, The Purge. Anyone could do whatever they like, and they don't get punished for their crimes. So basically, this is what happens. And like children like these that were kidnapped, you know.
I mean,
So you're saying that it's to do with the Lisbon Treaty, and that on the 1st of January 2021.
Yes, it's because these kind of laws in the 12 years transition period, these kind of law of crimes wouldn't be punished. They would a law court in the UK would not be able to punish such crimes as what was discussed earlier on this meeting.
But now they can. Now they can. Like
well,
Barry
I
says.
hope so. Yes, I hope so. But we need to start, I mean, we need to start doing a lot of work.
So if Jason was to file a claim for his daughter to be returned,
yes,
you're saying his status would change from being the defendant to the claimant, and then they would have to prove why they took the child in the first place. Otherwise, they have to return her
Yes.
within 14 days.
He, as we already said, he needs to take a civil case against, you know, the kidnappers. I don't know, the council. I don't know who is responsible. And even if he wins that civil case, he has a court order. Again, that court order will be null and void.
So
then after that, we take that court order, we put it through our common law court, through the European Court of Human Rights, and then that becomes like 100% valid court order, and that can be enforced. That needs to be enforced.
Yeah. So all he has to say in this claim is that that the originating application of the whoever the culprit was based on a perjury, and that perjury was, when that perjury was removed, the daughter should have been returned, and she wasn't, and therefore
I'm sorry.
Order.
I'm not how to say, I'm not very good at these cases with children, and I wouldn't be able to tell you more than I already said. So I would like to finish my speaking for tonight. I already shared everything I can about these kind of cases. There's nothing else I can say right now.
Okay, thank you.
Can I sum up what you're saying here, Alex? Is that the court's orders that are completely invalid anyway?
Yes.
However,
yes. As I said, I have a court order. I can share it with you. It's in Romanian language. Yeah. My client, for which I was a consultant for about 2 years, he won a court case. It's signed with the name of the judge. He's got a stamp, a signature. The insurance company in Bucharest, they put it in writing and they said, we're refusing to respect this court order. We don't have to respect this court order, and we're not giving you any money because there's hearsay about you that you might have some debts, unpaid debts. And if you have debts, we're not giving you money anyway.
So what I'm saying is here, what I'm going to say on them. So the system itself, those within the system itself, the corporations themselves, yeah, if they which rely upon to do things to us, yeah, to the people, yeah, get a court order, so get the order from the authority of the court, yeah, and they get these papers and they do the things to the people, yet when the people get the court order to reverse it back onto them, they ignore it.
Yeah.
So they can ignore the court order, yet they just do
exactly. Yeah. Like we said earlier, might is right. That's how they work. Might is right. Because
all my court, sorry.
If we or everybody, our society, if we were to respect the law and do what we need to do, like 95% of the police workers and judges, they would need to go home and look for a job on Friday Ad and Gumtree. They wouldn't have a job anymore. So if this is the definition of fascism. Fascism is a lot of people that stay together. Yeah, lots of people that do stay together and they do what they do. So yeah.
Can I just say that all the court orders I've received and stuff, there is no name on it, no signature, no judge's name. It just says by a sitting judge.
Yes, well, it's null and void, and it's another thing that I noticed. There's like police or bailiffs. They show up and they are fooled by these kind of fake court orders because they are illiterates. They have absolutely no idea what they are doing, and they will just see a piece of paper in front of them like this. Here's the court order. I have it. It's here. And then I asked the police officer, did you have a look at that court order? And he says, oh yeah, I saw it. It exists. It's there. He's got it. Okay. What's the name of the judge on the Oh, I didn't actually look at it, but I'm sure he's got a court order. Are you really sure? Yes, I'm sure. So he could like swear on his life. There is a court order, and he will, you know, enforce, work together with the bailiff to get the job done. I witnessed it. I saw it happening in front of my face, and these people, they have absolutely no idea what they are doing. They are robots, brainwashed robots, humanoid robots. I like to call them.
They know what they know exactly what they're doing. They know they are corrupt. The fact is that the public doesn't know the truth. The public does not know that they've been robbed. They've been, you know, criminalized. You know, I don't know how to put it. The public don't know, but except the few of us that know the truth. The thing is, everyone else don't know. This place, these bailiffs, they know exactly what they're doing. They're laughing at us. Once before they come, after they go, they come and laugh at us and say, "Oh yeah, we got him or we got her." You know, they laugh because they know what they're doing.
The ones who are like, you can see they are proper crooks because I can spot them now. I'm very good at it. They will do like deceit, forgery, and all kind of tricks, but it's all illegal. It's all fraud. You know?
Yeah, like in my own case, because I was recording her, like the last recording I did when they came to handcuff me. She was flashing a high court badge at me, the so-called bailiff. They've been at my house 6-7 times. The same lady. She was saying, here, I'm from the High Court bailiff. I said, there is no High Court bailiff. Stop fooling yourself. She goes, yeah. I said, where is the warrant? She goes, we showed it to you. We just showed it. I said, okay, show it to me again. You're on camera, show it again. She said, we've showed it to you. I said, forget it, you know, and when the police came, they deleted everything that I recorded on the last time they handcuffed me. They deleted it before they gave me my phone back. So you want to tell me that they don't know what they're doing? They know. But the public, the people don't know.
I'm saying some of them have no idea. And then there's some of them who know what they're doing, and they know they are doing deceit, treachery. It's all illegal crimes. They are very good at it, and they are. You can see that they are enjoying doing it. And then one more thing I wanted to say. Someone said tonight that, and I quote, they can just do what they like, and there's nothing that we can do. Well, if that's how it works, I would like to say that there is something that we can do, and that is we can also do what we like. If that's how it works, you know.
That is it.
I had conversations with people, and I asked them like, okay, could you please tell me what is this about? Like in the end, what's all this about? And they said, oh well, you know, it's all about the money because I like the money. And I said, oh well, guess what? I like the money as well. Why don't you give me some money? If that's how it works. You need to give me money because I like money. Well, guess what? I like money also, and you need to give me money as well. So I'm doing back to them. You know, if they carry on doing what they like, I carry on doing what I like, and it just put the mirror to them, and that's it. There's nothing they can do.
Yeah.
It seems like when I've been dealing with people in the courts, because whenever I ring, as soon as I give my reference number, oh, we can't speak about this. Let me put you through to the right place. Yeah. All you do is you're getting put through to gatekeepers. Our courts, government, whatever, NHS, everything.
The deceit, treachery process that they put you through.
They've been taken over from within. They've been taken over. The parasites have got in, and they're taken over.
Can we like, because Barry's back now, I just want to give him a chance to speak.
Yeah.
Because he's obviously come back for a purpose. So Barry, do you want to round it up? Because surely these crimes that the state's committing on a daily basis, routinely above the law, surely we can round this whole thing up, because we've heard about children, we've heard about houses, We've heard about these psychopaths that come in your face and they can't read or write or speak.
Well, we come back to that original discussion that Andy and I had about the fact that with all this knowledge we've discussed this evening, just with the knowledge this evening, you can armour most people against the visits from the thugs, the fascists, the police, everybody else. With the information that you have that we've discussed tonight, if it's put into a document of some form, you can actually use that. You know, they're always going to kick down the door and drag you away against your will, but you can at least get the case set up and ready so that we can then enforce it. And you know, doing this pepper pot approach, I like Alex's point. It's you know, concentrate on the little things. Andy's hitting the nail on the head. It's about the paperwork. The only thing they fall down on, they're fascist, but they're incompetent. So the minute you frame them with paperwork, you've done the logic string that they can't break.
You are muted.
Then you got to prove who destroyed the documents, who had the ill intention to mislead the court.
They never existed.
They never existed. You don't have to prove anything. The claimant has to make the proof.
Yes, they never existed.
Yeah, but you when you get your caseman file, you're proving that the court documents never existed. Then you have to do an audit trail to find out. How can you say they never existed when you've only just
no court case. There's no case file.
You don't have to say anything.
It's an illusion. It's an illusion to meet your consent.
You don't have to say anything.
Everything's an illusion.
You're asking them to prove what they're saying. You don't have to prove anything.
Yeah, but the whole thing about
proof. They're the ones that claim it's a court case. They have to they carry the burden. They have to produce the material evidence to substantiate there was an information fee, there was a filing fee, the receipt for the filing fee. There's a proof of service. That information was issued.
What you're missing is that criminal offences are being committed against a man, woman, and there has to be ill intention by a man or woman to prove the crime. You cannot prove an ill intention by saying, "Oh, they never existed."
By saying, "Of course, you know there was this," because you've been presented with a summons. It's got their name on it. You've got all the paperwork.
That's the thing. That's the whole thing. There's no man or woman identifiable on anywhere.
It doesn't matter.
That's how they do it.
It's irrelevant, Milu. Because
if a crime is committed, you need the ill intention of a man or woman.
No, you don't. They never did with any of us. They never did with any of us. There's no mens rea. There's no intention to do anything wrong, and yet they've carried and rolled over us. So don't tell me we now need it.
Baz, I think. Sorry, George. Here, I think we're going around it a little, and I can see what you and Andy's saying. They have nothing, and I think Nilo's missing that. There is nothing there. You're barking up the wrong tree.
And the point about that is, the minute you prove they have nothing,
Thank
they're
you.
on a foundation of quicksand.
Very much so. Very much so. Jason, you have to fight.
How do you prove a point? How do you prove the crime if you're agreement with them that there's no basis?
They want you to bark up a tree. They want you to bark up the wrong tree.
Nilu, it's like this. Remember this, right? Yeah. How can you prove something that doesn't exist exists? It's not about us proving it. We don't have to prove anything. They are the ones that's making the claim that it does. Therefore, the burden of proof is on them, full stop. And the claim is against them right now. And if they can't prove it and back up what they've said, they're in trouble. Period.
End of story.
Done.
Where is Nilo? Oh, what I can say is that people are going to jail, are being taken to jail, and it happened in the last 12 years with these court orders that are just opinions and recommendations. People are going to jail, and if they spend time like 6 months, 6 years, that's just kidnapping. That's just unlawful arrest. After spending time in jail, they need to be compensated because they went to prison without the proper documents, without any documents. Yeah, that guy, he doesn't, or whoever spent that time in jail, he doesn't need to prove evidence that he was guilty going to jail, you know. They are the ones who need to provide the evidence.
Where's the court order? Where's
the proper paperwork? Yeah.
Do what you did. Where
So
is that order from the court?
isn't any.
Whatever they
what
did.
Alex is saying is that because they do false prosecutions and they make this money laundering and human trafficking, that the remedy is a compensation which is double the amount of money that they profited, or 10 times as much, whatever it is. We need to agree an equation.
Yes.
So that George gets compensation for 1 year in prison, and Barry gets it compensation for 4 years in prison, and Margaret gets eight, and Margaret gets compensation for attempted murder and theft of her 2 homes. So this is where our focus needs to be on. The only language they understand is money, and if we dent a corporate structure, they will understand where we're coming from, and they will stop. We need them to stop. We need to give the signals a language that they all stop doing this to all of us, because it's not going to make them any money. And we should be talking money. How much compensation should George and Barry and Margaret and me we should get? And let's file those bankruptcies against the councils. Let's get the money off the councils.
You know, I'll tell you what, I mean, thinking about this, because, you know, like Anthony did like when he first wrote that letter out to request the casement file, it's going to be a straightforward affidavit format, because it's going to be the same thing for everybody that's been allegedly taken to a case that never even existed. So that format affidavit everyone can put in, after 28 days they haven't produced that material evidence, it shuts it down anyway, and then you're going to take that to the civil court to prove the crime. Yeah, so I think that's where we need to be looking at. Yeah, myself. Yeah, that's right.
I agree.
So George, when you go in on Monday, make sure you put your counterclaim in for your 1 year in jail without a substantiated cause.
Well, we have to deal. Before I go there, I've got 8 of those similar things to the one in 2002. There's loads of others. The one I'm going on Monday, I'll specifically, as Baz said, deal with that only, not to crowd the issue. Deal with that. According to them, I beat this paedophile up, and we know we've asked for the case record.
George, we're talking about the amount of compensation you're going to put into the court on Monday.
No, Monday, it's a case.
For the false imprisonment.
But Nilo, I have to deal with the information that they've laid against me first. I can't.
No, you need the compensation. You need the settlement. It's the same council. The same council did all that to you.
No. Monday is about a case, a false allegation about me physically beating this man up.
In Redbridge.
That is what that is on Monday. We can't be getting claims in it. That is what I'll be dealing with at Bow County Court on Monday at 10:30, 11. And I want that judge, I want the court manager, I want the probation to show me the layer of information, the court record, as Jason said. That is what I'll be asking for. I will not stop until I leave there. That is what they're going to show me. Otherwise, there'll be no case. They have nothing.
But
so
you
why
still
am I fighting something that's not there?
Claim. You still need to put in a claim.
Well, obviously that's going to come, but as Baz said, you have to deal with one chunk at a bit at a time, rather than just going there. Those there, they do. The CPS, the Met Police Legal Service now have loads of claims. They've got them. They've agreed to some, but they won't pay. So they need enforcement. We're back to enforcement.
I actually, George, I mean, what I tend to do in an affidavit format, at the base of it, like, failing to respond this, you agree to the terms and conditions of such and such and such and such.
Yes.
Right? So set your compensation terms there and there.
Well, I mean, maybe I'll have to see Baz or whoever can do that on my behalf to just get the compensation claim to put his affidavit. I don't mind that.
Well, that will be what you'd be taking to the civil as soon as they've disagreed, because they've agreed.
Okay.
They've given you so you've inbuilt your compensation in it, within the affidavit, which has been agreed to by their failure to provide the material evidence to rebut.
That's
it.
right.
So,
that's right.
Because I mean, this is the thing. This is how they've got us, by the mere fact that you can never prove something that doesn't exist. And they'll just ignore you. They'll just ignore you because they've got to. They can't do anything else but ignore you, or throw you down this path or that path or any other path. So
that is the point.
You just stay on point, like you say. Stay on point. They can't.
Stay on point.
So the thing is, we've got to spin it. So it's not that we're having to keep asking. We're not asking. We only need to ask them once. We're telling them this is a crime. And failure to produce this, you're now agreeing to this.
Agree. I agree.
Yeah. Rather than keep asking and just keep going over and over and keep being ignored and keep being fed down these bullshit, they're different paths. Boom, there you go. You are this. You are responsible for this. You know? And to be truthful, you've already been given all the answers anyway, because the courts have all told you that.
They've got nothing. They've actually got it in writing. So, you know, I think it's the enforcement which I'm particularly interested in. And I think from Jason Wong's point of view, I do feel for him, and I know what that feels like after years of going through the same things and multiple cases. It's not just one, it's multiple cases where you have the same reply. So when I say I know, I'm like chasing shadows. So I think, Jason, whatever we can do as the group to help, to assist, we can't come because it's a family court. So, but at least I'm prepared to go if it comes to it, to give moral support outside their family court or whatever it takes. But a group of us to show until they see there's people are onto them, not just one person, a group of people are taking active stand against these fraud, deception, and perjury. Then we know, you know.
In all fairness, George, I mean, what Jason's got, I mean, because I know I've been speaking with Jason. I also know Dean Willis, who Jason's been talking. They've done a lot of study of themselves, and I know what the process that Jason's going to go through. Like, and I wish him. I hope he can. I pray with the force with him and stay centered and stay on point all the way through it. Yes. I mean, fingers crossed, he could crack the system in another way, because there's multiple ways. There's many ways of skinning a cat. And if he achieves his goal, doing what he does, which I pray he does, and I pray more strength to do it, to go through, which is great, But he's going in there. But ultimately, it doesn't matter who else. It doesn't matter. It's down to one and one own. Whoever's there speaking, that man who's there speaking is speaking the truth and staying in equity. The way he's going to go through it. So, you know, I pray for that. But ultimately, for everybody else, you know, because we can't have anybody else speaking for you. That's what's same with Edward Ellis. That's why they're trying to shut him up, isn't it? Because Edward's speaking for other people and they're shutting him up. They don't want him. Get off him. What's he? They're trying to lock him, get rid of him because he's supporting the people. So ultimately, what we're saying, which is why another way, until we've done it, we're not going to know. But like Barry said, you know, when he hit the nail on the head with the Lawrence case, it's been done. So there's a presidency where it's been done, where you go through the civil to create the evidence, the solid format of evidence, so now go and get them to perform their duty. Whether they perform, it's up to them, because if they don't, then they've got a claim coming at them again. Got you. But I mean,
you can't.
Yeah, go on, Jay. Sorry,
Margaret, you're muted.
You can't tell the people. You've got to show them. That's what. I would not know what I know now. I wouldn't know if I wasn't put into this position. I'm so strong at the minute. You know what? It's been the worst 2 years of my life. I mean, everything. I would do everything myself, basically, because it's just my partner. And
it's very noisy, Jason. Very, very difficult to work out what you're saying because of the noise. There's a noise.
Must be my headphones.
She's breaking up a bit, Jace.
Okay. Yeah, George. Yeah, it's better.
Yeah. So I forgot what I was saying. Yeah. So it's going to take all of us. It's all a group effort. Yeah. And do you know what it is? They've on purpose. It seems like on purpose they put out information like free man on the land, a bit of information here. It's up to us to take bits of information from each thing and put the puzzle together. That's what I'm finding. There's bits of information everywhere that can help, and we've got to put it all together. Yeah. Because if I just stuck to one thing, the documents, I'd lose, because I lost the last court case. I went into that court case, that court hearing, standing basically as a man, but I did one thing wrong, which I'll explain to Andrew another day. I don't want to give it out on live. But I went there with the documentation, a conditional acceptance, provide me the caseman file, and all they did was, this was on the same day, a woman came into the courtroom with a signed letter with a blue ink signature, her name, Vicky Denton Jones, she's the law progression manager, saying, here is the family man that you requested, all the documents you requested, here is everything. I've still got that letter. And what they're giving me, as soon as she put that down and pass it to me, the judge says, I'm satisfied, we can carry on now. Tomorrow we're on the phones. And what they give me was a, what was it, data protection full inquiry. There's no credentials, there's nothing on it.
Well, we rebutted straight away then, didn't we? We rebutted that.
Yeah, but it did nothing. It did nothing. All they did was they put us on a hybrid hearing through the phone. And as soon as I spoke, basically, as soon as I said, did you receive our draft order? Yes. Well, we've never been served any proceedings issued by the court. And she goes, mute the parents. I was muted for 3 days. 3 days I was muted for.
That's
and
what
I've got the judge.
You've not been to a court. It's not a judge. Nothing. It's nothing. It's just an illusion. Remember.
We asked if we're in a court of record. We asked, are we in a court of record? No answer.
Illusion.
Yeah, but it's almost like these criminals, these child kidnappers, are trying to prove what they can get away with.
Yeah.
I think they don't. They feel they don't have to prove. They feel they've been doing it that long.
Yeah.
This is normal business to them. This is the way the system works.
Yeah.
Yeah, but if you look at the case of Melanie Shaw, it's proved that the children's homes in Nottingham were abused, right? And I don't know if you're familiar with the children's homes history in Nottinghamshire, but you could use that, the evidence of that, as because this is becomes. Don't we need?
We're not fighting. Listen, the pure and simple factor: the crime is there and done. It's done and dusted. If they can't prove that it's a court, there's the crime.
That is the crime.
That's the crime. That's it.
And we need to figure out, how do we get them to back down? Because I'm just going to say it now. Documents, sending them notices, liens, whatever, yeah? Everyone tells me, send them a lien, send them this. It doesn't matter what I send to them, yeah?
Yeah.
These people are terrorists, criminals, parasites. They don't care what you are sending. They think they are... They must believe they have the whole courts. They probably have. They've got the whole court system corrupted. So they don't care. The people in position who are put there to offset us, they don't care what they tell their minions to do, because they know they've got so many loopholes, which whatever document you fire to them, they're just going to basically send you to a complaints department. That's what they all do. Make a complaint.
You know that once you know that this country is run by child trafficking public servants, they're actually
the whole world is
from child trafficking. You only need to prove that there is this established. It's well established in Nottinghamshire. You only have to prove that it goes on. It's so many homes were shut down over it.
I know it's going on, and I've got through acquiescence. None of them have replied to any of my legal notices, my notice demands. None of them give me a reason for not replying. Just
so you had another whistleblower there. I can't remember his name. There's an old guy that used to.
I think I know Melanie Shaw now. Yeah, I do know. But listen, you know my partner, her mother was in a care home in Leicester. It's a very famous case. The guy, I think his name was Ken Ford. The guy got like 25 life sentences. He worked for the council in the 80s. Look up his name. And he was in charge of all the care homes. And he got done for like 400 kids came forward and basically reported it. First time, he got away with it. Then some more came forward and he got 25 life sentences. My partner's mum, she was abused by this man. And she wanted to basically rat on him. But she died when my partner was 3 years old.
So the mother died, and when your partner was 3 years old.
My partner was abused as a child. I'm not going to say something here, basically. But basically, my partner, yeah.
So what was this guy's name again? What was this guy's name again?
My partner went into basically Twitter, and Ken Ford left the council. He got like 25 life sentences or something. I looked it up because basically, when he found out long ago. But my partner, as a teen, I don't know what's happened to her as a teen. She's had this therapy that made her forget memories. As a teen, like 12, she was one of the most looked for runaways in the country. She went missing for 3 months at a time and she didn't know what happened. She didn't know what's going on. You know, it's crazy. I could say a lot of things that I could assume it's this, that, you know what I mean? But she's going through hell at the minute. This case and
we are live. Okay, we are live. So let's just stop there now because let's do this offline because it doesn't help anybody to put this out on live. All right.
But yeah, so with the court thing.
Shall we wrap up soon? Because we'll have to keep it to 1 hour, otherwise I get told off by Barry.
1 hour.
All right.
We've only been 1 hour then tonight. Okay. might have been a stretched 1 hour, but it's just
well, we're coming back on Monday, so Justin, we can talk more on Monday.
So at 6 o'clock UK time. Andy, Suchita thought it was 8 p.m. today. Can you write on the thing only UK time? Because nobody comes from Greece anyway.
He comes from Greece.
It does say GMT plus 2. It does say GMT plus 2, so you should know GMT. But I'll put 6 o'clock English time. I said that the first time. Okay.
Okay, Judge, I will be with you at the court. Yeah, I will talk to you on Sunday anyway.
Yeah. I mean, you know, Bow Magistrate Court in Bow Road. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
okay. All right.
Okay.
Well, thank you, everybody. And thank you, Andy, for
thank you, guys.
hosting.
Speak to you Monday.
Thank you. See
Take care.
you.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye. all.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
Andy, I will give you a call, yeah?
Okay, buddy. Yeah. See you in a bit.
All right, cheers. Bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.